What is up, my Moon Tribe? I'm Haley, and welcome back to Moon Tribe Tarot. This is going to be for the star sign of Cancer for July 5th to the 10th, 2020, so take what resonates, leave behind what does not. If you'd like to book a personal reading with me, where your messages will 100% correlate to your story because they are specifically for you in mind, you can find all the information for how to reach me in a reading in the description box down below. Without any further ado, I have already pulled your cards off camera for you, like always, Cancer, so let's get right off into it. We got the Eight of Cups. We got the High Priestess, and then we have the Queen of Wands in her reverse. Okay, so digging right into this, the Eight of Cups High Priestess represents... So the Eight of Cups represents an abandonment situation where either you left somebody behind or they left you. Energies can be traded, so take this how it resonates. But the Eight of Cups represents walking away from a situation that had full potential. There was full cups standing. They were full cups, and none of them were spilt. So it literally represents that there was, like, potential here. There was potential here. And for whatever reason, somebody saw it and was like, nah. And they just kind of turned away from it. And it kind of represents walking away from something that could have been very fruitful. But for whatever reason, or not, for whatever reason this was, somebody has decided they don't really understand why they felt like this. They just didn't feel like they belonged in this situation. It does represent walking away. And the unfortunate thing about this is I think that you saw this coming. I think that you knew that this was coming. So if you were doing this to somebody else, I think deep down you knew. Because it is a person. I do think that this is walking away from an actual person. For some of you, it could be like a job or something. But mostly these are interpersonal kind of readings. So I would suggest that I think that you walked away from something or somebody walked away from you. And I think that you deep down knew that this was either coming or that you wanted to do this originally. That you, let's say that you knew from the beginning that this relationship wasn't really something that you wanted or needed. Might have waited a long time, and it's something that does have potential, and it did have potential, and this person is probably not a bad person. I'm getting for a lot of you that this person was pretty solid. And walking away from something that had potential. Now, for those of you that doesn't resonate, where it wasn't as solid, that's not the timeline that I'm reading for you. But it's also possible that this person could have walked from you. Take it how it resonates. The Queen of Wands coming up in the reverse for the outcome from the 5th to the 10th of July definitely represents... So if we were to get her upright, she is somebody that is a queen. She really understands how to have full power. She is a leader. She is somebody that is very fiery, passionate, bold, is very sexually warm, active, creative. She gets bored easily, and she's hot-tempered, but she is somebody that is lustful. She has lust for life. She would be a good leader, a good housewife. Not a housewife, sorry. That is not 2020 of me. She would be a good, she would be a good mother, a good wife. She is somebody that is very, very good with her leadership, and she knows how to foster that in other people and how to lead other people. All queens and kings are leaders. When we get her reversed, it represents that you've kind of been knocked on your ass, and you're kind of going through a period of time of you do not feel like yourself, even though that you are, and this is the most important thing that I'm going to tell you in this spread for you, Cancer, is that just because we don't feel like ourselves, that just because we go through something really shitty where we didn't want to walk away from something, just because we go through pain and setbacks, that does not mean that you aren't still this. It just means that right now you have to fix your tilted crown. And I know that that's so fucking cliche, I'm sorry, but that's kind of that energy. This doesn't mean that you aren't still this queen. You are still her. You just got knocked on your ass and you have to get back up. But this doesn't mean that you aren't strong. It doesn't mean that you are a certain way. It doesn't mean that this doesn't mean that this literally doesn't mean that you are not worthy of having this, that you aren't this person, because you are still this person. It's just a matter of time of making sure that you fix this for yourself, to make sure that you are rearranging your crown, that you step back into your power. But during this time, that's something that's going to be hard to do, because it's something that, whatever line it came from, if this was somebody doing this to you or you did this to them, it doesn't matter. you would hate doing it to them, and you would even hate it more if they did this to you. Whatever way it feels like, it feels like a loss of control. It feels like a loss of power. It does represent to me a loss of feeling like you are in tune with yourself. And I would like to suggest that is highly, only temporarily, a thing, because you still came up for the Queen of Wands. You just came up for her crooked. So let's get one more card for where this goes. Or actually, what's the most important thing, the most positive, important thing, hello, that I can tell Cancer right now? Yeah, okay. So, yes, this is kind of the same exact energy, except he is a male, and I get this as a more masculine thing, but he kind of is the same exact thing as her, but it represents, he is an Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, does represent somebody that has that leadership, really is like a king, but he is more so the planning that gets put into becoming a king, putting down the law, putting down the rules, making sure that people follow them, being strict, being stern, even though he's not doing this with like hate or with bad intent, he's doing it to make sure that people are doing what they need to do. And I see this coming in for you specifically as getting, you were knocked off your feet, and this is about getting back up. But this is saying that you're going to do this very soon. It's not going to be something that takes you out of the count. And it might not be like in the next day, like it might not be an immediate, like, oh yeah, I feel better like tomorrow. It's not going to be that quick for all of you, but it does say that it is coming. This is definitely a, hey, you still have this, just make sure that you fix yourself, you fix your crown. And when I'm saying fix yourself, I don't mean there's anything wrong with you, I just make sure that, like, you readjust yourself, you put yourself back into the game. And obviously healing is messy. I'm not telling you when to have this healing by. Whenever it happens to you is when your healing happens for you. I'm not trying to push you into a timeline of, oh yeah, you have to have this now. But I really think that you're being told by the universe that, hey, this isn't something that is going to be a very lasting, permanent thing, because I'm getting the advice that you are still going to be taking care of yourself and getting right back into the game. I mean, I see this coming up for you. Again, it might not be immediately this time period of the 5th to the 10th, but it's coming in. It is coming in quick, and this is a major arcana lesson. So it's about reestablishing yourself. When this happens, you're going to be reestablishing yourself, and don't be dismayed by the timeline if it happens in a time where people think like, oh yeah, like this should have happened already. Timeline. Healing is messy. It doesn't matter. It's subjective. This happens whenever it's supposed to happen. As long as you keep putting in the work, you're allowed to falter. You're allowed to fall back. You are allowed to make missteps, and you're allowed to go back. Just make sure that when you go back, you also try to move forward at the same time. That is all I have to say for you, Cancer. Good luck with this. This is something that you feel off right now, but I'm telling you that you are going to quickly realize that even though you're feeling like this, it's going to be shown to you that you are a leader, and this is kind of your calling, that it's not that the situation means you aren't a leader. It just means you're having a bad period of time, and that is 100% normal. Don't let other people tell you when to have healing, all right? I'm not going to tell you when to have healing by. Just make sure that you are taking care of yourself during this time. You definitely have success coming in, so there's that to look forward to, and that's coming in pretty, I don't know, it is coming in soon. I don't want to say like how soon, but I do think it's coming in, I'd say before the end of July. And that is insanely good energy to get in a spread like this. Take care. I love you, my Moon Tribe. Peace out.